Alright, so what's up everybody? I want to touch on a few points. Start with some news and then kind of go into like a little, I guess, opinion piece. Actually, the news is kind of an opinion piece too. The news I've got is the Katy Perry versus Flame court case. I'm looking over here because I put notes on my little whiteboard over there. So that way I would know what the hell I was talking about. Or remember it at least. So Katy Perry wrote a song that everybody's familiar with, Dark Horse, and that came out in 2013. And Flame wrote a song, he's a Christian rapper, he wrote a song called Joyful Noise, and it came out in 2008. And I think far less people know about that. But the court case, in my opinion, was decided upon by a jury improperly. Flame brought in a musicologist who basically spun this web of big words to try to pitch that Katy Perry used his piece to make a song that like defamed him, like because they were so similar. Like, first off, the first thing that triggers me is like this court case that Flame had. He should have pitched it 5 or 6 years ago when the song came out. Not now. It's a little overdue in my opinion. Like if he'd have known, like the copyright law hasn't changed much between now and then. If he'd have known that, like if this was a real case, I think he just found somebody who could actually make it work for him. A set of lawyers and the musicologist guy. So, real quick, in order to get somebody on copyright, so if you wrote a song and somebody else took it and or took ideas from it or took motifs from it that were completely original to you and then used it to make money, you're entitled to some of that money, and so you can sue them for copyright, or you can take them to copyright court. And in order to do that, first the motif has to be the same, all right? And then there's different types of motifs. It could be a rhythmic motif. It could just be a rhythmic pattern that's unique. It could be a melodic motif that's unique, and it could be a harmonic motif. Again, has to be unique. Or it could be a lyrical motif. Again, has to be unique. Any one of those things, and you're good to go. The thing that won the case between Dark Horse and Joyful Noise was a descending melodic pattern, which was like, I'm gonna play the keys over here. I believe it was something along the lines of, and then I think Joyful Noises was something like, or no, I don't think I had that. But that's very similar to each other, and so that's kind of arguable. The problem is it's not unique. It's happened in songs going back hundreds of years. There's Mary Spindler did a video on this where she explains it. Rick Beato does another one. He doesn't go into the history, but I saw another fellow, I'll link him below too, because he does a really good one where he brings up like 5 or 6 different cases where that same descending melodic pattern with those quarter note pulse kind of feel to it, which is really the only thing you can really claim on that one, is done on that. So it's not, you can't claim it. I think one of them was Hello Old Saint Nick, an old Christmas song, like an old German Christmas song. And like if it's there from like 200 years ago, you can't copyright it. That's free use. Anybody can do that. And it's not exceptionally unique. There was no like complicated rhythmic pattern and going up scale or going down in scale degrees. Like, that's just a thing people do. That's how you write music. So it was ridiculous. And they tried to grab them on, the musicologist tried to grab on things like the timbre of the song and like the sound quality of the piece, which was like a synth piano sound. You can't copyright a synth piano sound. People have been using synth piano sounds since synth piano sounds came out, so that doesn't work either. There was a whole bunch of stuff, but all in all, it's a big loss for songwriters, because if this court case stands, then that leaves every songwriter ever open for a lawsuit. So personally, I think it's going to go to an appeals court. I think it has to go to an appeals court. If like, the only reason it wouldn't is because the amount of money that Flame won off of Katy Perry was chump change, and she just was like, meh, I don't need this headache, and then gets rid of it. And I really hope she doesn't. I hope Katy Perry takes Flame to an appeals court and countersues the shit out of him for trying to do this, because it's ridiculous. And he really is selling out the songwriters, every songwriter in the world. Christian songwriters too, mind you, not just big pop songwriters, because now Christian songwriters who are using standard motifs that have been around for hundreds of years, it's ridiculous, and it pisses me off. If you can't tell, I'm a little heated. All right, so let's see. And then, okay, so how about some updates with me? So that's what else I'll talk about. I this week recently decided I was gonna pick up not this week, last week I decided I was gonna pick up learning how to play harmonica. So I ordered myself a few. Got me like a, which one is this one? It's that F sharp. I got me a bunch of weird tuned ones because I play flat. I play in like a either open tuning flat, like open G flat, open D flat, or E standard flat tuning. So I had to get a bunch of weird ass harmonicas, which makes learning online weird because I guess the riffs are all the same because the holes in the reeds all line up the same way in the same scale degrees. It's just your ears have to understand that you're playing a half step or a whole step off, half step or a step and a half off, something like that. But some of the things I learned how to bend notes. That was cool. So there's two different ways you can bend notes. You blow into the reed like a madman, and that will bend your note out wildly. Or you draw, on your draw notes, you just change the size of the chamber that you're drawing into, which makes a lot more sense to me than trying to blow a note to bend it. I think a lot of people think of when you bend a note on the harmonica that it's about just blowing the fuck out of it, and it's not. You don't blow the harmonica out of tune. Like, I mean, you can, it's just, that's a real good way to get out of breath, and it's not controllable, so it's not like you're gonna get a consistent result. So if you're just looking for a semitone bend or a half tone bend, you're not gonna get that like blowing like a madman on it. But yeah, so here, I'll give you all an example. I'm gonna do the low ones because they're easier and I'm a beginner, so. But yeah. This whole one. As you can hear, I can change the pitch by just changing the shape of my mouth. And that's cool because you can do these kind of little licks. You can do that on like hole 4. Stuff like that. It's fun. So that's one thing I learned. And I realized, I was doing my research on it, there's a lot of people who've been playing harmonica for a long time who don't understand that it's about the size of the chamber, and it's not how hard you're pulling or how hard you're blowing into the size and shape of the chamber that the frequency is resonating in. Anyways, so that was one thing I learned. Also learned like tongue blocking, sliding, and then the hardest thing I've learned on harmonica was playing individual notes. as opposed to playing chords. Individual notes is way harder, and so I sound like a little kid on a recorder when I play individual notes. So that's my update on my harmonica lessons, learning how to do that. I did learn that for the rig, for a harmonica rig, it's basically a guitar rig. Like you play through a guitar amp and you just have like a microphone that you use instead, and like dirt pedals and delay pedals sound great. So I just slapped an ABY box on my pedal board since I had the space. Now I'm 2 separate inputs, and one I'm gonna plug into a mic that I'll have ready to go from harmonica once I figure out how to play it better. All right, and then oh yeah, I got some shows coming up. I'll list a graphic with all of them listed up there. Please feel free to come in. Also, I'm doing a thing with my merchandise, and I already sent it out a bunch to my Army buddies and other buddies who live out of town. Because I'm playing mostly locally here in Texas and in the Central Texas area. I have a lot of friends and a lot of people who want to support my music who live outside of that region. And so what I like to do is, if you want to be a supporter of mine, what I like to do is I'm just going to send you CDs, and then you can sell them and then send me back some of the money you made, and you can keep the rest. And so that's basically what I want to do. Or if you have a shop or something like that, I'd love to do that. Actually, since I made that announcement, I got 2 shops. One is Rogue American Apparel. They're putting my CD up on their website, and then because my website's pretty low traffic, but they have like, yeah, they get like 200,000 like views a month or something like that on their website, so it's significantly more exposure there. And then my buddy, jiu-jitsu instructor Adam, he said at Cedar Creek MMA that I guess he would put it up on a shelf up there. That would be pretty cool. So if you're interested, or if you have a business that you want to do that with, it's pretty easy. I'll just send you the CDs with my PayPal information when you're done selling them. PayPal me whatever you think, whatever you want to give me, basically. Sell them for whatever you can, and then take your cut and send me the rest. Do it on like whatchamacallit, like a trust-based system, because I trust you guys. I think y'all are cool, and yeah, I hope to hear from you guys soon, or see you guys again next week.